So the question comes up as to whether we read directionality in the man and woman cards. So whichever they're facing, are they facing each other? Are they facing apart? Is this used in Lenormand? So I don't, and I will explain why here. There's only a very few situations when I would do that. Let me show you why. So there are many ways of reading the Grand Tableau. Typically you look for where the woman is if it's a woman quadrant, and then when you look where the man is if it's a man quadrant, and you use that as their line. This is their present line. So this would be her present line, her now. This would be his now. Anything before her would be the near future, further, further, and further away. Anything behind her would be the very recent past and further away. Some people will take a look at which way the woman is facing, and that will be her future. So you just go in that direction. I don't read that way. I consistently read the right as the future, the left as a past, so that influences my reading style. Also, if you notice, this is the game of hope, and she is facing the past, he is facing the future. It looks like they're facing away from each other. But that means for this deck, and this deck has 2 man cards and 2 woman cards, and you notice the 2 women are facing the same way and the 2 men are facing the same way as each other. These are facing this way, these are facing this way. This happens in many, many decks, which I'll explain in a minute. So that means any time that this man is in her future, he'll be looking away from her and she'll be looking away from him. This is not always the case in real life. There are times when people are in our future, we might be looking toward them. While they may not realize we're there or may be looking at other things, there are times when they may be looking back, or there may be times when she may not always be facing this way. It would also mean that in every single reading you do, if the man is in the past, they're always looking at each other. Again, this is just not always the case. That's not real life. It doesn't indicate all the different facets of what can happen in many, many different relationships as you do multiple readings. So just like in these cards where they're facing the same way, I went through a bunch of my decks and I found that even though we have some decks that have 2 man and woman cards, like the Lenormand Revolution, a really nice deck by Carrie Paris and Lauren Forestell. The 2 men, he's facing this way, he's facing this way or pointing to the left. She's facing to the right. She's facing kind of straight forward, maybe slightly to the left. Okay, so these are pretty much the same direction. These, I guess you could make it so in your mind she's facing the other way. So if you were to randomly pick one or the other for different readings, they could change the way they're facing. Sylvie Steinbeck's has 1 of each. She's always facing toward the right. He's always facing toward the left. So that wouldn't impact those readings. They would always be the same. So I would not read directionality. Same with the Alone's Vision. There's 1 of each in each card. They're facing each other only if he's in her future. The Under the Roses deck has 2 men and 2 women. They're multicultural, so this is really nice. But if you look, the 2 men still face toward the right, 2 women face toward the left. The Esmeralda, Lenormand, this is the man, so he's facing the right, and so is she, the woman. One of the few decks where I could find them facing in different directions is a Gilded Reverie by Ciro Marchetti. So the 2 women face in opposite directions, and the 2 men do. But remember, that means in same-sex readings, there's always going to be a certain aspect to which way they're facing, and it will depend on which way they land. But the randomness of who you pick for which character could actually end up meaning something for that reading. Okay, so that's 1 deck possibility. So when you look at the reading, if the woman is here and I read to the right for the future, and if this is the man, that means anything in the future, he would be facing the other way. Anytime you landed in the past, he would be facing her. That is not the case in real life in every reading, and that's why I choose not to do it.